Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it. Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome again to another fly edition in the year 2022 of Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. And we got an amazing guest today. As I always say, we talking about the power of connecting in 2022. Yes, we're focusing a lot of things on this year because we want you to level up, be ready to move forward, and be able to hit some of those goals and objectives with your intentions in 2022. And I want to thank everybody that's showing up here for the live. Please drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. Also, join in the discussion. Let us know how you're connecting in 2022. Let us know your secret success or your secret awesome sauce. But I can't do this without my wonderful co-host. Bring her to the stage. What's up? And good morning, Charlene. What's going up, Miss Brown?
Hey, what's going on? I'm having like the most technical day today.
Yes, she's having the tech. She's the tech
Ah,
misfit today because she got the technical difficulties. I had them last week, guys. You know how I roll. We got millions or
Man,
hundreds of millions of people using this internet stuff. So you know what I mean. It is what it is. We flow through it. We show up. We be real. We talk. We got real talk or real recognize real. So we're gonna do it
yes.
this morning. We're talking about connecting this morning. And if you guys do not know our guest this morning, you guys got to get on it. I know they told me that before. It's 800 plus million people on LinkedIn, right? But this guy is on LinkedIn. He's got a YouTube. He's doing marvelous things. He's got a book. He's an author. I mean, you know, he's with the spiritual. He's the pastors. He's got it all. He's got it all wrapped up in a bundle. And he's joining us early this morning. Mr. Woo 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 is Mr. Woo
Russ,
Woo himself. What's up, Russ?
what's going on, Russ?
Hey, it's always a
Woo.
woohoo day. I'm so excited. I just love you guys. Thanks for having me on. What
Oh
an
man,
honor to
appreciate you,
finally be
man.
on Real Talk. Now I feel like I can finally really talk because we know how silent I am, right?
Yes.
You're always supporting others. That's what that is.
This is truth, man. You put your platform out there for other people, and it's so such an inspiration. It sees in your name and title, man. You such an inspiration. I knew when I first saw you through our connections, and we had like 6 degrees of separation. Like we've got so many connections that I connected them to, connected you to, got to you, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
we just hit it, man, with our Zoom calls and a couple of church calls and so we did talk to the pastors, man. You know, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Well, I appreciate you so much. Both of you are always just right there, ready to do live streaming with me, and I appreciate that. You know, it's always great when you have amazing people that come together, and that's what I love about you guys. You know what Jim Rohn says, that you are the average of the five closest people to you, and you two have raised my average definitely. So I appreciate that.
We
It's being in good
appreciate
company,
you.
man.
Definitely. So I wanted to get into the power of connecting because I think you are an amazing connector and what you've done, not just in the realm of just you yourself connecting to other people, but actually helping others connect. And especially with the hashtag that you have, 1,000 thanks, you've really gone above and beyond, especially on LinkedIn, that most people would never do. What really inspired you to do such powerful connecting and meaningful connecting and teaching others to do the same?
Well, you know, some people would call it crazy connecting because I am kind of like, woo, connecting with everybody all the time. I do. I just love people. That's my inspiration. I mean, I love people. From the time that I first got into sales and marketing, I mean, I love to meet people. That's why I have that. I have a workshop called Turn Cold Calling into Making Friends. That is
Mhm.
my intention with life, is making friends. So I love going out and meeting new people, right? And so through networking events and through all kinds of stuff before COVID, that's where the hashtag Russ Selfie came from. Doing great connecting, learned that selfies are a great connection tool. And I would gather in groups and I would have fun, and people just come alive. It's so much fun. And being able to connect, I really think that really the bottom line of connection is not contacting somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Connection is me and Carl and Charlene, who talk every week, who do shows every week, it seems like lately, and or multiple shows every week. And I mean, you're always living life together. That's connection. And so that's what I really love. And I always joke with people that they're stuck with me. Once we've connected, I'm a lifetime friend. So there you go.
And that's true. You do make such powerful connections, a lifetime experience. And just when I met you, it felt like we knew each other. You say it all the time. We knew each other for a long time, but we didn't. And I think it's because you've been so genuine in the actions that you take. That's why it really resonates with me and others and many other people. So I just wanted to say I appreciate the connection. I appreciate your friendship.
Well, I appreciate you. And we got connected through Carl. One of my little tactics of things that I do to connect with more people is look at people that I really like and who are they connected with. And
Hmm.
Carl and I had connected through other people that I really like. But then Carl and I had been doing shows, and then I watched your show, the two of you together, and doing things. And I thought, I have got to meet this Charlene. And so that's how we connected. And I'm pretty intentional about my connection. Yes, I connect with a lot of people, but I'm connecting intentionally with certain people also, right? I want
Hmm.
people that love life, that are excited, people that are just trying to make it through the day. I'm probably not going to connect with too many of those, because that's not what I'm looking for. And that's not
Right.
to put anybody down. I'm just saying I'm very intentional about trying to, like I told you, to raise my average of the five closest people around me. I'm
Mhm.
constantly trying to find amazing people. And this platform on LinkedIn and all social media, but the live streaming platform, amazing, amazing connection
Yeah.
tool. And that's why we're doing, all three of us are doing more and more with that.
Yeah, it's a benefit of and what you said was so powerful in the essence of connecting, because you were saying that the connecting part of it, what we do, it's more than contacting. And I was telling someone, I think it was maybe Monday or Friday of last week. I was telling them about, they was like, "Well, how do you do your networking?" And I was like, "I don't even use that term anymore." And it's intentionally that way. What has been that way for me for a minute. I don't use the term networking, because what I do is not that, because they were talking about the monotony of going on Zooms and making these personal
Mhm.
calls, and there's like, that has become a job. I say, you know why that has become a job to me? Because I'm always a people person. So the format of which I'm conducting or talking or dealing with people, it's just changed to me from a screen to personal, but I adapted so I can make it personal, because we can take out our conversation, can leave this square box that we are in, right? We know that we see each other and we're on Zoom, and of course we're thousands of miles apart, but our conversation can take us right next to each other in the essence of how we feel, how we do. And I think that's what makes you special in talking to
Mhm.
you and being and dealing with you. That's why I said the power and emphasize the power of connecting, because once that connection is made, I feel like I know you forever. I think people have said that about me, and I don't know what the secret is. So I'm gonna ask you, maybe you can enlighten us. What's really the secret to making someone feel like that, or what do you think your kind of like awesomeness is to that, or making someone feel like, oh man, he's a friend, even though I just met him yesterday.
Yeah, well, I would say connection is definitely my superpower, and people call that at times because it's really, Charlene hit the nail on the head. It's just being you. It's just being genuine. People want genuine, authentic, real people, right? This show is real talk, and people want real people, and so I
Right.
think that attracts others. There's nothing that's so wildly special about me. I mean, I may think I'm pretty special sometimes, but then I think, well, but there's a whole lot of people that are more special than me. But the thing is just really being ourselves. And what
Yeah.
I think is amazing, God has created me to be the best Russ that I can be, right? And so that's my goal. I'm not trying to be the best Carl I can be or the best Charlene I can be, although you two are amazing. But, comparing yourself to others or trying to be other people now doesn't mean I'm not looking and learning and trying to be better because of things that you guys are doing. That's a whole
Mhm.
different thing. But I think just being real you, and I think people are drawn to that. I think the three of us could I can't wait till we meet in person, but this is such a blessing because in the meantime, we get to be great friends, we get to laugh and have fun and just enjoy each other in this life because of live streaming. So yeah, I just love it, and I think that's the secret. Just be real.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Now, where have you seen people take connections the wrong way? Like, what's a pitfall, or maybe like two or three pitfalls that you've noticed that people go through when they're trying to connect, and it actually goes against what their goals are.
Well, I think people call it connection and it's not really. That's the number one problem. What they do is they try to sell somebody. They contact them with the intention of trying to sell them first. Um, and, hold on, you know, let's not get married on the first date. We've all heard that, right? I mean, don't
Yes.
overpower me with your 15-page. I get that all the time. And the other day I was sending out a connection request to somebody and I always send a little note with it. And I said, "Hey, I love what you're all about. Love to connect." And the first thing he said back to me is, "This is not a sales pitch, right?" I said,
Mm,
absolutely not. No sales pitch. I have zero intention of talking business or selling with people the first time unless they bring it up. Unless the conversation, they're asking me questions or doing things, that's different. But my intention is to go in to get to know them. And you both know this. First thing I ask you is, hey, tell me more about you. What are the awesome things you're doing? And I want to hear what's going on in your life. I want to find out, what we have in common and all this kind of stuff. And that's why we hit it off so well because we had genuine conversations. So that's the number one thing is, the wrong intentions and not really connecting, contacting to sell. The other thing I think that people have problems with connection is they don't really connect and they might have good intentions to start. But I say, hey, how's it going, Charlene? Hey, Carl. And then you don't hear from me for 3 years. Well, if you get married and you don't talk to your spouse for 3 years later,
Ain't gonna be
probably not
married
going to
long.
be a good marriage, right? Probably not going to be so good. So that's the number two thing that people I think have problems with connection is they're not consistent. They don't follow through, right? And I think the
mm.
third thing is you just got to have fun, right? This is why I love the hashtag Russ selfie. So when I started doing that, I was terrible. Do you guys know the story of the hashtag Russ selfie?
No,
No.
I never knew that. You've been around so long. I just thought it was, it's been around
well,
so
I'll
long.
I'll tell you, we were back. My family was taking a trip on the East Coast. I was horrible at selfies. We were on the Washington Mall with the Washington Monument behind us and all that beautiful stuff. And I'm holding up the camera, trying to take my phone, trying to take a picture. My son is like, "Dad, forget it." This is my adult son. At that point, he was probably 23, 24. He says, "Just give me the phone," and he takes the selfie because I'm horrible. Then we go to we're in New York City, we're in the subway, and we've been there many times. And in the old days, you had your camera. You'd hand your camera to somebody, they take a
Yeah.
picture of your family, right? Well, I handed my phone, forgetting my son had minimalized me. So my phone was my wallet and everything was in there. My credit cards, my cash, everything. I handed to this stranger in the subway. That was
Oh,
not a good idea. As I backed up, I'm
not in New
praying, "Dear
York.
God, please help him give that back to me." And I'm trying to smile. And we have that picture. We were just looking at it the other day. So anyway, I decided I had to take selfies, went to networking events to make a long story short, started practicing taking selfies, learning that people love it. People come diving in, selfie, woo, and they're all having fun. And then
Yeah.
you tag everybody. The next time I see you guys, Carl and Charlene, if I meet you for the first time, next time I see you, you're like hugging me like I'm your best friend because you've seen me on social media. We've learned about each other, right? That
Right.
was the power of the connection of a selfie when it's used in the right way. And I learned it was so much fun, but I learned for business it was very advantageous as well. So I went crazy taking selfies. Somebody said, you have got to have a hashtag. And so there you go. Hashtag Russ Selfie was born.
Nice.
That's it. Yo, you got the Lord was with you on that New York moment, handing that phone to someone else. That took some courage there. Um, Selfies are they are. I still have not done them. They still, it's not maybe one or two things that I'm fearful of. I'm just fearful of selfies, and I don't understand why. I don't know why. I've taken some. I've set my iPad and stuff up to take some. I've even got a little remote thing, where I can take some. But I don't know. I just never looked at the selfies as being that powerful. And then I took one and put it on a reel and put it on Instagram. And I think I just stared at the computer as I put the real, and there was a message of a preacher behind me, and I stood at there, and I think that got about 900 or something. I think it was the first reel I done. And they got like 900 or something likes on Instagram, and I think at that point I only had like about 100 followers. So I was like, oh my god, people just love this picture of me just staring at my computer screen, and that's when I really felt the power of it, and that was a connecting. And we're talking about connecting, that was
Right, right.
connecting because a lot of people, I know, I'm sure they heard the words in the background and playing, but I kind of like looked at it and like I was paying attention and I was taking in what was being said to me. And people really related to that. And I think that really drove me to saying there's something to this. And like you said, it really is. And it's advantageous because it draws us to a connecting point of where, yo, he's a real guy. Charlene's a real woman. It's like these guys are real people. They're not just on
Right.
here with the fluff like a Kardashian or just showing you, the lavishness. No opt out on them. Don't cancel culture me because I talked about the Kardashians. But I mean, if you understand what I'm saying, just the fluff.
Yeah.
You're just normal people.
Hmm.
Just normal people.
Well, it's interesting because my selfies really most of the time are ussies, I guess, or something else because they're groups. I'm always, and what I love is when I really connect, I like to really know people, but what I like to put on social media too is real life fun. I don't like to put up a persona of how great I am, although we all put up the good moments and we don't put up all the bad
Right.
moments. I've been the first to admit that, but what I'm saying is I put up happy things of just real life, and people are drawn to that. People are
Yeah.
drawn to people having fun, real life situations. And it's like, wow, this guy's really out connecting with people. And what's interesting is, the birthday thing that Facebook started a couple years ago, where you go to wish somebody a happy birthday. And if you've got pictures of them, it brings up and makes a little collage. Well, not only, this is the funny part, not only do my birthday announcements a lot of times, most people have all these pictures, right? All these selfies. So I'm saying happy birthday and putting that up. Other people are wishing people happy birthday, and they're my selfies that they're using to wish them happy birthday
Wow.
because I take so many.
Nice.
And a really good friend of mine said, if we could ever just get Russ out of the picture, then we could wish each other happy birthday. And I said, well, take your own pictures then, because that's why I'm in there. But no, it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Oh man, Russ, tell us, man, when you're connecting, man, how do you know? Have because I know Charlene mentions the pitfalls, right? And I know we're laughing and we're chatting and we're talking about the power. And I like that what Kim put up, that connecting means slowing down. I think it actually takes courage to trust the moment. So very true.
Mhm.
And learn and just enjoy learning about someone else. The
Right.
connection will come, and that's about as truth as I can put it myself in terms of saying that it does mean slowing down. But we're in the age also where there's also like I tell my kids when they were growing up, it's the good angel and the bad angel, right? That sits on your shoulder and whisper in either ear. And even though we know that connecting brings power, it brings closeness, it brings especially when you're intentional, it brings about benefits. But we also have to look at the downside to this. I was watching a news story the other day, which I don't try not to, but it caught my attention because we're in this age and they were talking about the Apple tag thing or whatever it is. It's something tag. It's supposed to be a little piece that tags that you keep on you to let you know if you lost your phone or and it kind of traces it for you. So this lady, this news reporter, whatever, she was at a bar, and someone dropped the tag in her coat pocket, right? And they once again, once the tag is activated on your phone, it it's a map. It turns into a GPS. And they
Mm-hmm.
were tagging this lady for about 5 hours, knowing her every movement, her every place, and where she was. And she just happened to find it when she took her coat off at her apartment. So of course nothing bad didn't happen, but she didn't know who it was, and she notified the police. But we're in this time. What are some of those things that you can give us as which you may not have encountered, but maybe heard stories like this, that we can kind of be careful with connecting because it's a Pandora's box as well. You open it up to be have those relationships, but you can also open it up to that craziness as well.
Sure, sure. Well, I'm always really trying to focus on the positive side of life. So I
Mhm.
don't take a whole lot of time thinking about those things. There's people that are glass half full, glass half empty. I'm the glass overflowing. I'm the crazy guy that's happy all the time, whether you want it or not. I do realize that there are negative consequences to things. And part of that, overcoming that, is what I look. How do we overcome that? Is being intentional about who you're connecting with and also being thoughtful about how you're setting things up. I mean, I'm the first one to say that you should have privacy settings and you should be careful about who has access to things and who can actually track you because we have that in our family. We have a GPS thing where we can track where each other are. So if they're
Mhm.
my kids are coming home, we can know about where they are and we can communicate. But that's available. You're right. People can track you and it's out there. So we're putting ourselves in somewhat of that situation no matter what because the
Mm-hmm.
technology is getting so good. They know where we are most of the time. So I think the biggest thing is to be thoughtful, to be aware, right? To be very intentional about what you're doing so you don't get yourself in a spot. And what that reporter did is good. If you do find yourself in a situation, you should always let the authorities or somebody know, so that you're taking care of yourself. Just like we tell our daughter, my daughter's 31, but we tell her, still to this day, be thoughtful about where you're parking your car, where you're getting out of your car, because she's single and she's going somewhere by herself, and you got to be careful nowadays, no matter what you're doing. So I think that's the biggest thing. Is yes, there's stuff out there, but I think you just have to be aware and intentional to overcome that.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And it's not just for ladies, a lot of fellas too.
Yeah.
People just, they just like to look for targets. So when connecting with people, I've also noticed a lot of undertones, sexual undertones that can come about through simple engagement, and the next person on the other end is taking it to the next level, or the where you'd never wanted it to go. So it's also, I found, for me, learning to cut things off early. So being very in tuned with your intuitions. Don't push them off saying, "Oh no, I'm just acting crazy," or I'm overreacting. If you don't feel comfortable, it's okay to just cut connections, disconnect from people that you may have reached out to and actually allowed into your circle. It's okay to remove them as well. So I
Yeah.
know a lot of times we feel like, oh, I don't want to make them feel bad or anything like that. But if you're not comfortable in a situation, just remove yourself from it too.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think somebody just put up a comment that said unacceptable period, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I would say to that, Charlene, is I agree 100%. Number one, the Facebook page personally that I have with my beautiful wife. So it's
Mhm.
Russ and Leah. And so she'll come to me and because I'm the crazy connector, I've connected to the majority of the people on our page, right? Through all that I'm doing. And she'll say, so who's this Carl guy back in New Jersey? And because he's saying these things and I don't like that. And so, of course, Carl would never do that. But anyway, but I say to her all the time, you can disconnect from anybody. We can unfriend them. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's not appropriate or this shouldn't be happening, because we don't want to fill our feet up with people that that they're not good, what they're saying and what they're doing. But also, there is a lot of that. And Carl, I didn't think about this because Charlene brings this up. there's a lot of people that are utilizing like young ladies to guys that are
Mhm.
sending out, they'll send out these things, and I'm the marketing director from so and so. They'll engage a conversation,
Mhm.
but I realized within about, well, now I realize right off the bat, but within a couple comments, they're going somewhere else. And so,
Yeah.
Charlene, I do exactly what you said. I'm very nice. I say, thanks so much for connecting. Have a wonderful day. And I just stop. And if they stop, then I don't really worry about them sitting there. But
Mhm.
if they don't
Right.
stop, then I just delete them, because I don't want to, and I definitely don't want to carry on a conversation that's going so far. Another one that I get a lot is, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of my friend Carl. Is this Carl? And at first I thought it was just mistakes. On WhatsApp, that happens a lot. And what
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to do is they're trying to engage you in a conversation. And
Okay.
but it's not a good, I mean, it's a conversation going the wrong direction. And so I've been very nice and learned that, and I'll just say thanks so much, and then I'll just delete that stream from my WhatsApp. So, you're exactly right. You got to set boundaries, parameters. You've got to you've got to live the life you choose, as I always say. You've got to make choices on how you want to live and who you want to allow in your bubble of life, right? And
Correct.
yeah,
It is because the power of the connection lies just in that the actual connection, right? So when we think
yeah,
about that, and I'm not one to play on words. I just love words, and what that means and how that draws power is what's manifesting in our connection, because if the things that we want to manifest, that makes it powerful that we're able to do that. But it's also it's also a crutch. I call it a cruise and a curse at the same token, right? Because you do have those, and I'm getting smarter to those. I was not aware of those until I think I shared with Charlene a few months ago that my personal Instagram was hacked, and
Mm-hmm.
they was hacked, and they asked me for I guess it was a lady. She asked me for, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get back into it. She changed my picture on there
mhm,
and started sending out. It was a trader, a forex or something, coin, Bitcoin, somebody. So, so she traded. She started sending out things from my account to saying that I invested 500 with her and I made 5,000 like in 10 minutes, right? Which, I mean, man, that's phenomenal. I would love to do that if that was for real. I mean, I would have gave her 500 in a heartbeat. She'd have to hijack my account for that if I knew that that was going to be the outcome. I think 500 for 5,000 is a great turnaround, right? So then, I mean, I started engaging because I started, like, a couple of things came into place there. First of all, was the anger and the
Mm-hmm.
audacity of someone to like take over your stuff. I told Charlene,
yeah,
I think I went on for this for a while. I felt violated. Like, and of course, I didn't, parallel it to anything happening with the woman and on that in that instance, but I can kind of draw a parallel to the violation that they seen, because I just felt like helpless. I felt like, and then not only that, she engaged in teasing me and sending me messages to my other account, to my business Instagram account. Well, you could get it back if you give me such and such Bitcoin. And like, I was like, I'm not a Kardashian. Why are you trying to hold my account for ransom? I mean, I don't have any money. But it's just the audacity of that, how that makes you feel. And I think
right,
that's the same way when we go with disconnecting, when they come in and they try to talk. I even telemarketers have started this. They call you and they call your first name first, like they've been knowing you forever.
right,
Hey, Carl. And I'm saying, okay, who is this? I don't know you. But it's the world we live in now, and it's just that. But enough of
Mm-hmm.
that bad stuff. You are the
right.
king of connector, Russ. You are the king. You are the king of connections, my friend.
Well, we all need
And
to have like D. Scott, my good friend and
D.
co-host
Scott
D.
as
Scott
well.
Smith. Okay, so first of all, we all need that because he goes by Scott. That's his name. But on his thing, he puts D. Scott Smith because it differentiates him. Dennis is his real first name, but he goes by
Mhm.
his middle name. And so, people that know him just call him Scott. Hey, Scott. So
mm-hmm.
what he loves is when he gets those connections and hey, D. Period. That's what he gets. And he's like, okay, this person clearly has no idea who I
Who
am,
I
So
am,
it's
yeah.
it's kind of
Right.
handy to have that actually because it weeds people out really quickly. But it's interesting. This is my intentional focus of life, and that is there's good and bad in life. I realize that. I'm not unaware. but I really powerfully work to focus on the good, sometimes almost to a fault. Sometimes I'm too overboard on the good. But what I do is I find that my life is so much more positive. I find that I get so much more done. I'm so much more productive. I live a much happier existence because
Mhm.
I focus on the good things. So in connecting, I focus on the real good advantage of connecting, and I just try to be aware, and I try to set parameters so that the bad things don't happen any more than they need to. Now, they're going to happen. I mean, what did God tell us? In this world, we will have trouble, right? So I mean, we're going to have our challenges and trouble. We are. But you know what? I try to limit that and try to focus on the good. That's why I'm not a big news watcher. In fact, I probably could count on one hand the number of times in the last few years I've actually watched the news segment. And usually it's the weather because because I just it's negative. So what I'm saying is I kind of choose, and I set up my parameters and boundaries so I can keep my focus on the good things. And so back to connecting, that's why I just think connecting is fabulous. Yes, there's some bad points to it, but how many people would have thought 10 years ago, even, that we would be connecting like this all over the world? I'm not saying it wasn't available at all at that point, but very little. And we're just connecting with people everywhere. It's amazing, and it's so exciting, the opportunities. I just have a new client that I'm working with, and we're just getting things started. They were connected with a friend of mine here in Oregon, but they're in Texas. So they called me. They're super excited. Want to get a live stream going. I'm going to help them. He's been in radio for years and loves the Lord, and just great people, just great people. And they're in Texas. My wife said, "So where's your new client?" I said, "In Texas." Well, who would have thought that I'd be working somebody in Texas, or somebody in Dublin, Ireland, or somebody wherever? It's amazing, and that is the power. You said it off the top. That is the power of connection, and that is my focus on those positive things.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. And when you're connecting too, I love how you have the opportunity not just to make a new friend, but actually to impact someone else's life without trying. And I think that's where we also miss a lot of times. We miss that opportunity is to get to know the person, get to understand them. And it's not even, especially because we're on LinkedIn, everything doesn't have to be business focused. It's
Right.
really about understanding, okay, look, you're a person, you have family, or you may not have a family, but you have a life. So whenever you see someone maybe go missing, they go silent for a long time, and you're starting to learn their pattern, that's where you start to really see the power, where people reach out to you, say, hey, are you okay? Because a lot of times we also exchange phone numbers, so we are
Right.
getting each other's actual number or business number, and we're reaching out to make sure that you're okay, nothing's wrong. And that's how you start to really see people build the deeper, long lasting relationships that you see, especially through the pandemic. You have people becoming friends and they've never met, or
Right.
they're in one country from another. So that's how you really see connections building in 2022. So I wanted
Yeah.
to get your perspective on that, especially as a live streamer. How do you see connections actually transforming in the upcoming year?
Well, let me first say what you said is so true. We connect personally first. Connection is person to person, human to human. My good friend in Germany, a good friend of mine, he always talks about that human to human connection, right? And that is it. It's a human to human. So if you are your business, I always tell people that you are your business, and you can't do business without you. You are the determining factor in all that you do. So it is important to connect with them personally. And people miss that so often. Like I joked earlier, they try to get married on the first date. They're trying to jump over things and jump right into business, and people don't want to do that. And so that is so important. And I think that social media, live streaming is amazing coming up in 2022. The
Mhm.
power of that, and the way you said it initially, the way to impact people's lives, I think the opportunities and the possibilities of impacting people's lives are amazing. I love when I get I love when I get stories and people communicate back with me the ways that I've impacted them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell this story not to pat myself on the back, but to say I was so excited. I couldn't even believe it. This was an amazing thing. And it happened to be a long term story, but it came about because of what I'm doing on live streaming and social media and what they had seen out there. So I have a rule about the shared Facebook with my wife. I have to know the people. So I have to at least say, hey, Charlene, and see you and talk at least on Zoom or something before I'm going to accept people on our personal Facebook. So I was going through and I have a bunch of people sitting there that I haven't been paying attention to. So I went through to try to figure out who people were. And I was connecting on LinkedIn with people saying, hey, let's chat on Zoom. Let me get to know you. I see you tried to reach out on Facebook. And so anyway, make a long story short, I get this guy, this young man that, well, he's not so young now, but anyway, he's a man that reaches out to me, and I don't really recognize the name at first. And I said, hey, I see you reached out. You want to connect? And he goes, well, hey, the reason I reached out, Russ, I don't know if you're the right person, but I think you were my fifth grade football coach at this elementary school in a town here where we live. And I just wanted to say hi if it's you. And I went, oh my goodness, the name just suddenly,
Popped
from
out.
yelling his name and coaching him, I remembered him really quickly. I mean, in a good way. You just yell in football.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we had a great team with these kids. Anyway, so he signs back. I said, oh my goodness, so great to connect with you. He comes back to me and he says, yeah, I love what you're doing. Your influence on social media and all that. He goes, I want you to know that me and a bunch of the guys that you coached back in the day still talk about the influence you
Wow.
had on our lives and what an amazing time we had and all this stuff. And I'm 57, which means I was in college when I coached this guy. I was at Oregon State. And so he has to be, I'm just guessing, but he has to be at least 51, 50, somewhere in there. I mean, he's not that many years behind me because I was only 19 or 20 at the time. And it's amazing when you see that impact. And all
Yeah.
that came about because of the connection through social media. So, what I see, Charlene, going forward in 2022 is more connecting with new people, more connecting with old people and, old friends, and also more opportunity to do amazing things. We have amazing opportunities, and maybe we get connected back with somebody else and they're like, hey, it's so great to see you. I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Let's collaborate. Let's work together. Let's do this. Or you just find somebody and you get to go to coffee and lunch. I love that. Let's go to coffee. This young man that I'm talking about, who's not so young anymore, we're going to get together. We're going to go to coffee. We're going to talk and meet again in person. And that's been a few years because, like I said, I was like 20, and he was probably like 12 back then. Or 11. So it's crazy. Anyway, just great opportunities. That's what I see in 2022.
And I know you have a goal for 2022 that you wanted to reach a certain amount of connections. Let's talk about that. How have you been? How did you come up with that goal, and how has it been going so far?
Well, it's interesting. I think when we started doing the hashtag 1000 thanks, and I was thinking, how easy it was to thank people and throw that in. And that's still really, really going out there. And I think it's important to build momentum on positive things. That came out of Thanksgiving time, thinking of other people. And that 1,000 was sticking in my brain. And I thought, I could easily connect with 1,000 people over the next year. So it probably wasn't as big of a goal as it sounds like. My friend D. Scott Smith was asking me the other day. He's going, so how many people do you think you connect with during a day? And I said probably 7, 8 people a day. But then I started thinking, do I really actually get time to talk to them and connect? So that's my goal, is to actually talk to them, connect with them in that way. So that's a little bit more daunting because you've got to get it all set up and you got to keep it moving. So far, so good. I've really been, I reach out to way more people than 3 a day. I mean, it's actually less than 3 a day over the next year. Yeah, I just think that the possibilities through that, you never know. And you guys know me too. Not only do I love to connect with people, but I love to connect other people. And I've connected you guys with other people, and other
Yeah.
people have connected me with other people. And that's amazing. I mean, just like I said, this client that I'm going to, this, I just consider them friends that I'm going to be working with and helping in Texas. I would have never known them if it hadn't been for somebody else connecting them. The author that I have this week on Russ Reels Live, a great young lady she's out of Texas too. I wouldn't have
Mhm.
been known her if I didn't get connected by somebody else and shown her book. And so you connect, you move forward, and I think we can all help each other. I think we should all connect with 1,000 people over 2022
Think
because
so.
I think that's a great goal to lift more people up.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I
I
think
love that.
I love it as well. And the connections are, uh, we all here because of connecting, right? When you
Yep.
look at it, everyone that we've met on these platforms, and everyone we've engaged, and everyone that we've had conversations with in depthness. I mean, I know so many people's children. So many people know my children. I mean, I know their stories, their history. Some in private, some publicly that he shared. Like I've been a confidant to so many here online that I probably never would have been without the advantage of streaming and connection. And live stream has really brought a new and pleasant dynamic to my life. It's a fulfillingness that I wouldn't even say it was missing because I didn't know the importance of it until this time came. And that's just how things go when it's time, when their timing are right. And you talk about the connections. I met a couple that has been in my connections. I've had one lady who saw me and also in Texas, and she invited me out to speak at Chamber of Commerce small business out in Texas. I hadn't even never been out there, and I went out there this summer, and I went to Arizona based upon meeting someone online with the live stream. They shot me a DM, say, I seen your show. I like how you talking about that vulnerability. I think some people here need to hear about that. She's like, we're going to bring you out to Arizona. And I'm like, you don't even know me beside the show, right? So we got the connection, but she was that's why I go back to the word power, how we don't really take advantage of what some do. I won't put everybody in that general blanket.
Right.
People take advantage of it, but there's so much more potential in what we don't know about these connections that we've missed out on, that we're missing out on when we're
Mhm.
not making the connections. And you said it right. I like what you said. It's okay to have 1,000 because I took that initiative when people said followers. I want thousands of followers. And then I kind of looked at that and I was like, okay, well, what is a follower? You know what I
Right.
mean? What does that follower mean to me? Just sitting up above, up under my name, as a number? I wanted the connection. And I like how you taking that 1,000 thanks a little bit further than just, I'm just connecting you. We're going to get to know you, find out
Right.
some things about you. Yeah, it's awesome thing, Russ.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think that the most important thing is what your intentions are with what you do with your life. That's why I'm big on intentionality and purpose. I teach on purpose. I teach on mindset. That goes a long ways with whatever you're doing in marketing and
Mhm.
sales and whatever I'm working with people on in life and business, family. But your intention is so important. And I was reading, Carl. You'll know what I'm talking about. I was reading in Matthew this morning,
Mhm.
and in chapter 23, there it talks
Oh,
about
yeah.
having a servant's heart. Okay, so it
Mhm.
talks about having a servant's heart. And so, what is your intention? Is your intention to help and bless others, to treat others the way you want to be treated? What is your purpose for connecting? And so when you have that real strong purpose, I think, and why you're doing things, it draws people because they see that you care about people. Like John Maxwell says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
So people want caring individuals that care about them, and that's who they want to connect with. If you can see if your connection uh, ability or your strategy is working, you can
Mhm.
gauge it off of what other people are doing. Are they reciprocating? Are they staying connected to you? Do they want to be connected to you? Right? If suddenly people are dropping off and they don't want to be connected to you, well, then you're doing something wrong, or you're trying to manipulate the situation or whatever. And we all have our challenges. We all have our faults, but I think it's
Mhm.
so important and it is so powerful, Carl. Just like you said, the power of connection is amazing. And I just want to intentionally go into 2022. I want to bless other people. Those 1,000 people I connect with, I want to see what can I do to help them? What can I do to bless them? And if people do become my followers, I want them to be following somebody who's living a life of integrity and a person worth following, right? And I have my own purpose on that. God is what makes me worth following, if there is a reason. But I'm just thankful that I have that opportunity, and I can't tell you what a blessing the two of you are to me. And I mean that every time I tell people that it's true. I've got so many people that have blessed me, and you guys are such a blessing. And I was so excited to be on this morning. When I saw it pop up on my calendar, I'm like, whoop, whoop. All right, gonna be on with Carl and Charlene. Woo!
Yeah, man, it brings us joy. We have a lot of people on, right? We talk to them. Me and Charlene talk to a lot of people. We've interviewed a lot of people over the past 7 to 8 months now, and we've even talked to a lot of people, not necessarily on the show, but just in the verse of communicating. And I must say, I can speak for her on this, but she's going to speak to it as well. I don't think nobody gets me excited more to talk to than when I want to talk to Russ. Like, 'cause I see you when you said you had her on the show last week, like 3, 4 times. I was like, hold up, Russ. She can't be taking my place on the show now. Hold
Ah, well, it's crazy with this
up.
connection thing like you guys said. I truly, people sometimes, I think when you're on live stream, they think, yeah, you're just shining people on and you're just being all flowery about everything. Well, I might be being flowery, but that's me. I'm just flowery. My wife calls me a Pollyanna. I'm always, the super happy, everything is great person.
That's a
And
good thing,
so,
man.
but you two are like, I just feel like we've been lifetime friends. I do.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
look back and I thought, how long have we really known each other? What? You're kidding
Yeah.
me. It's only been that
And
long because it seems like in a good way it's been forever.
Yeah.
yes, yes. And I wanted to make sure that people know that you have a lot going on. So what
Yes, Russ.
exactly do you want to tell them? I know your book, Befuddled. I know you have a master class with D. Scott, and also there was something else that you were doing. So I wanted you to
About
let
a
the
million
folks
more things that we doing. It
Yes,
should be
yes.
what you're not doing.
What you're
Well,
not doing.
Yeah, what you're not doing might be better,
well,
right?
let's see. Let's start with that. Yeah. No, yeah, sometimes I'm my worst enemy as far as being too busy. That's true. I sometimes get too many things going on. But let me just tell you, uh one thing that I don't know if I shared this, but this is what drives everything that I do. Everything that I'm doing. My why or my purpose in life is to inspire and encourage others, you people watching, to inspire and encourage you to live a purpose driven life of significance. And what does that mean? I want you to be a life changer. I want you to be a difference maker. I want to help elevate everything that you're doing. I want to help you be a better version of you. And that's what I'm all about. So when I do the things that I'm doing, I am taking a look at them and how do they align with why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? What my purpose is. And if they don't, I toss them. So what I am doing, I'm a sales and marketing coach because I've been in that industry for years, and a lot of people need help with that, right? I help people from everything from doing some marketing for them to coaching them through what they're doing. I'm a keynote speaker, as you can clearly tell. I love to speak. So somebody the other day asked me to come and speak, and when I showed up, they said, "I know we only told you 30 minutes, but you think you can speak 45?" And I'm going, well, let's see.
Mm,
Yeah, I could probably do that. I said, actually, when you asked me to speak 30, I was trying to figure out how I was going to keep it to 30. Now I just
absolutely.
only have to figure out how to keep it to 45. So I love doing that, and live streaming. Oh my goodness, that's exploded. And yes, so within that, the things that are going on, people can reach out to me at russhedge.com, and my wonderful, fabulous assistant is putting
Man,
all
she
this
get
information up
like
in the
she is just
comments.
like
Point. Like
they just on the weekend. She need another job because she like it's
Yeah.
on. I'm here struggling trying to keep my face straight, trying to respond in the chat,
oh
Ever is
my
trying to.
gosh.
amazing. Oh, she's amazing. So, but what I'm doing within that is you go to russhedge.com, you find out all about me, the live streams. I have Marketing with Russ, AKA hashtag Russ Selfie, every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have The Experience Live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And you both have been on those shows. I also have Russ Reels Live, which you both have been on as well, that rotates. That one is never a consistent time. It's a subject driven live stream. Then I also have Let's Talk Faith, Community, and Hope. And Carl's been on that one.
That's my
And
favorite
that
right
is
there,
with
Russ.
one of the associate pastors at our church, which is amazing. And then
Yes.
I'm producing a show. It's on actually today. So I'm going to be out running, doing things out of my office. I'm taking my computer and all my stuff with me. I'm producing a show called
Uh-oh.
Better Together, serving seniors in your communities. It's an amazing show. Two great hosts. So I'm doing that. That's what my new client is. I'm going to be helping them and producing some live stream for them in Texas. And then I've got workshops. So I have an upcoming one, how to monetize your live stream. People ask me, that's the number one question that people ask
Mhm.
me, because I monetize my live streams from the get-go. And people are wondering why I did it and how I did it. So I have a class for that. I'm willing to share with that with people. But also, D. Scott Smith and I are doing a mastermind based around live streaming. And it's for people like you guys that are veteran live streamers, is people that are just trying to get started. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. It's about learning the tools, taking the tools and sharing and making each other better within the live stream community. And I have shared with my good friends, Gabe Leal, who is commenting on Russ Johns, on Tim Sohn, a lot of other people that are really big in live streaming, and telling them the purpose of this is to support everybody. The purpose of this is to grow the community and work together. This is not a competition thing. And I made sure that they knew that, because we are collaborating together and I will be doing some stuff with them as well. But it's all a matter of building each other up. So that's going to be every Wednesday after the Experience at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, starting in February, the first week of February. We
Nice.
already have it. The class is already filling up. So if you want to sign up today, please go to the link that magically appears in the
Yes,
comments with
all
my name on it.
5,000 of them. We got all
Yes.
5,000 of Russ links in here. Make sure
So,
that you
yes,
go and join anything and everything that he's doing.
there you go. So that's just a little. Oh, and my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. Okay, come on, you two, do it. Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. There you go. And so, yeah, you can get that on Amazon or on Barnes and Noble, any online booksellers. And in Oregon and Southwest Washington, you can even pick it up at some bookstores. It's been a blessing. I got it out during the pandemic. It's an encouraging book to live your life the way you choose, not being befuddled. There's stories about me. You can learn more about me, the good, the bad, the ugly, and be encouraged in the middle of it. So there you go.
Love
Good.
that. And I've
Yes.
been learning from you too, seeing how you do market, how you do promote. And you do it so well in the sense that you don't it's not salesy, because you know that's a lot of fear people have, but because you've connected so well with people, it's just simple next step to say, hey, this is what
Yes.
I'm
Just
also
talking
doing.
about
So
you.
if you're interested, jump on in. It's not like, hey, you have to have it. You're a loser if you don't
Yeah.
get
Yeah, you
it. so
loser. You
so
loser.
we so
Well,
we
yes,
appreciate that. We appreciate that.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you.
No.
What I found is you got to be confident enough to get to a point where you tell people what you're doing. Everybody has to make money, and actually, I got to be honest with you. There was a point in my business I had to go back to some of my clients. I was helping so many people and not really making money for it. I had to go back
Mhm.
and say, this is what we really need to do. And this is what I'm going to have to charge for this. And I talked to some other people and I said, I need to reconfigure what I'm doing. These are my talents and skills. How can we work together and me actually get paid for it? And I had to actually talk money. And I think one of my limiting beliefs and fears is around money. And I have
Yeah.
very few fears, but I'm afraid of doing what you just said, Charlene. In sales, I don't want to cram it down people's throat. I'm a marketing mind where I want to connect. I want to market ourselves and our community in a positive way instead of sell,
Mhm.
sell, sell people. And when I started in sales, that was it. Sell, 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 sell. And I'm thinking, man,
Yeah.
that's such a hard line. Who wants a That's why people hate going to used cars lots, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
be like that. And what I always told people in person, and I know we got to wrap up, I always told people in person, when I walk into your office, if you ever run to the back room, close the door, and tell them to tell me you're not here, I said, just shoot me now and put me out of my misery, because I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that everybody comes out of their
Yeah.
offices,
Glad to
gives a
see you.
big hug. They're excited I'm there. That's what I want to be. And that's how I want my sales to be. Yes, I have these workshops, and you have to pay a little bit for it. You're right. And yes, I have
Mhm.
the mastermind, and there's a little bit of cost for that. But you know what? Usually, another positive thing that people got to remember, when you put a little money towards something and you have skin in the game, it makes it more important for you. And a lot of times that's what I'm thinking about. You've actually committed to something. You've got to commit in a positive way to make your life better. And sometimes these opportunities, that's what I tell people. It's an opportunity for you, but hey, it's great with me either way. If you just want to be my friend, I'm happy. Let's go to coffee.
I love that, and I'm going to reach out to you, and of course I'm going to talk with Carl as well, because I
Yes.
would love to have you on a panel talking about that, talking about
Yes.
how we can use connections but not feel that frenzy of sailing, or of selling. Okay, but actually doing it with confidence, because you know the people, and they may need to have what you're offering, but maybe
Mhm.
they're not ready, or they need time, but they can always know that, look, I'm connected with them, I know this person, I can come to them when I'm ready, and it's a safe space, in a
Right.
sense, for them. So I would love to have that conversation on one of our panels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to too.
We
I
definitely
would.
put
And
you on there. And we're not going to tell
yeah,
you a time. We're going to give you all the time that you need to get that across, because I definitely understand that being able to explain things, and especially when you have joy in talking about what you talked about. A lot of people talk about Charlene was this introvert who didn't like to talk, right? Find something that
I don't
is
believe that.
no, find something that she loves. Charlene can talk to you about it, and it's and I think it's what we all have, but we have these limiting beliefs, and I think 90. I could just about go as high as about 98, 99% of people are really positive in what they're doing, what they're offering, what they
Hmm.
have as skills and sell to be able to sell. But that 2 or 3% holding them back from going through with that, because they don't know how to ask for the money. They don't know how to package it for monetary, but they know that they need it. And you said it. I've had a few people this past few weeks. I told them, yeah, I can't do that during 2021. I gave you a lot of stuff. Like I really did. I went through and I walked through, and I'm looking back at everything now that I'm packaging and stuff to actually sell. And I gave you a lot of stuff for free. I wasn't looking for anything. I gave it to you. Now you come back and you want more of this. We're gonna have to try to figure out some kind of way that, okay, it's a service for you now. And I had some people. It's like, oh, okay, you gonna treat me like that, right? And I said, yeah, yeah. And some people were kind of like angry at that, but that just let me to know who's with me, who's not. I
Right.
did a
Right.
Gideon move with that. Who's going to bend over and drink the water out your hand? You know what I mean? That's the kind of soldier I
Yeah.
want. If you're not doing that, keep it moving.
Well, I was going to say that, we talked about earlier setting parameters and what you do, and you've got to be able to uh, be helpful and loving to people. But still, if you got to pay for your mortgage and your family. I mean, part of being a
Hmm.
good person and leader and husband and father and mother is being responsible. And so
Mm.
that's one thing that I just told people. I can't do this anymore. I can't help you if I can't pay for life to do this, right? I mean, this all costs some money. And so I'm not after it for money, but you have to be able to take care of things. So that's so important. But I want to tell everybody that the power of connection, if you want to learn my easy steps to connection, go to russhedge.com. You click on the link and it will send you a PDF of 5 steps to 5 ways to connect. It is simple. It's easy. Sometimes I've got such a simple mind that I just make it really simple. And sometimes, like with my monetized class, I had people take that the last time and they said, really, it's that simple? I said, yeah, I don't need to overcomplicate things. This is how you do it. And
Hmm.
you can do that. When you click on that button, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get another amazing gift. Some people worry about this, so I'm just going to be upfront and transparent. It adds you to my email list, but let me tell you what you get. You get encouraging, uplifting, short emails. Okay. And I think you're both on that list. You get those. And with that, you also get a couple connections to what I'm doing. You can click on that or not. Doesn't matter. They're just there for information. It makes it easy for you to stay in touch with me. But the whole idea of that is to encourage you. So I really hope and pray that that does encourage people. I hope you go to that page, take the free gift,
Go do it.
and get that encouragement.
Yeah.
And I would love to talk to anybody and connect with anybody. Go to russhedge.com. All my connection links are there, from my social media to my email to my telephone number to scheduling time on my calendar. You can schedule time. We can Zoom. Let's do it.
Because Russ
Yes.
loves Zooms. Russ
Yeah,
loves
that's
the
it.
Zooms. Woo! He loves the Zooms. This has
So
been fabulous.
I definitely wanted to thank you, Russ. We've come up on our hour. It's always amazing how it
Yeah,
flies by.
it flies by, man.
But definitely, folks, make sure you connect with Russ.
Yes.
Help him get to those 1,000 connections this year because you'll be better for it. It's not
Hmm.
just for Russ; it's also for you, your benefit. I'm
Absolutely.
trust me. I'm telling you, knowing
Yeah.
Russ goes a long way.
Yes.
Um, and I just wanted to say to everyone, if you're ready to be here with us, have a real talk, have a real conversation, laid back. We don't do a whole bunch of
Yes. Yeah.
uh, extras, but we just like to get to the information and allow our community, because that's what this is all about, helping our communities be better. And we want to make sure that whoever we have on here, not just for themselves, but for us, our community, to learn about new things. Maybe we were wondering about something, maybe we have something on our hearts and we're not sure how to address it. Trust me, that's what Real Talk is all about. Hit us up if you have questions, if you have a comment, if there's a topic you would like us to cover. Hit us up. We're more than happy to answer those requests and see what we can do. And make sure that you guys tune in, stay connected with us, because we are doing panels this year. Russ, we're gonna get Russ on a panel, so you see
Yes.
what he's already been sharing just to on in an hour. So just
That's it.
imagine what we're going to have with the panels, and have a lot of feedback, a lot of insights. I just can't wait. Anything that you would like to share, Carl, before we close out?
Yes. Look, we got I just had my first session, my authentic leadership mastermind. It is part, it is the pay to play part of the authentic leadership 101 that I do with Tracy Borison. And we've developed this membership that is going to be awesome, where we're inviting leaders into Zoom conferences to kind of talk about some of those struggles. We're calling it Authentic Leadership 2.0. And we're talking about some of those struggles. And last night was our first meeting, and wow, it was powerful. It puts you in the dynamic of being able to share some of those things that you may be going through, some of those things that you don't want to really talking about openly. We've created this safe space with you, but you know I'm a lover of safe space. I create them all the time, and we go there. We're doing that, and I'm excited about the direction that's taken. We also got invited to a couple of speaking engagements. I got to talk to Charlene about that. I've had a couple of in-person speaking engagements that I'm going to be doing in February for a couple of people that I've met on LinkedIn. How about that? So LinkedIn
Cool.
is a place for connecting, and there's power in the connecting. And these two people I did not know were been watching me for over a year to see how consistent I would be with my message. So it
Mhm.
pays to be consistent in what you believe and what you have
Yes,
faith in. That's the trueness of it, faith in. So yeah, we're doing
def-
some of that. So we're doing some great things. And don't sleep on us. The real talk, we got season two. We got some blockbusters for you. We got some amazing guests that's still filling up. I think we're in March now with the guest list. So continue to book, as Charlene says, and you know Charlene got like she got about like she didn't overtake me, Russ. I'm like the grasshopper now. You know, she didn't took over from the teacher, man. I'm wax on and wax off now. I'm Daniel's son now. She didn't took.
well, Carl's gonna definitely give us his link, because we're gonna be promoting that more.
Yes, yes.
And for me, if you have a struggle site, I
Oh,
have a struggle
struggle.
site rescue session. Come through. That's another pay for play. And
Yes.
in a sense that because of all the information that for over 21 years that
Yeah.
I know it can help you. Russ has seen the help. So is Carl.
Yes.
Between my courses and my one-on-one sessions, the Struggle Site Rescue is just perfect for you, where we sit down, we see what you have currently going on, and we devise a strategy. Because a lot of times that's what's missing. We have
Absolutely.
websites, no game plan. So
None.
let's get you together. Let's get
I
your game
know.
plan together. 2022 is different. No longer can you sit there and say you don't know when so much information has been pumped out since
Yes.
last year. So let's get it together. Let's get you up and running so you can be the actual credible person that we all know you can be. So now let the world see it and let it talk for you. So thank
Mhm.
you everyone for coming
Thank you,
through.
guys.
We cannot wait for Thursday. I think Carl has ditched
Yes.
me.
Thursday,
So I'm just gonna put that
guys.
out there. Carl has ditched me, so I'll probably be solo with the guests. But
Thursday,
I
she's
got
gonna be
this.
the
I
guest.
got
But
this.
she got that. She has been phenomenal over this past 8 months or so now. Charlene, it's not it is a pleasure even to just do the show with you. But I already know, even when I did that and I booked something, like that's what happens sometimes when you book things like 9 or 10 months ahead. You know what I mean? You forgetting it pops up. It's like, oh snap, I got a show on that day. But they invited me, and they had me in their calendar for such a long time. So me, the way that I show up and have people to show up for me, I definitely did not want to back out with that. But I feel with the most utmost confidence that Charlene has this, and the guests that she has on Thursday, they're going to be doing it. And I am a multitasker, so I will be in the comments while I'm doing that live show. I'll be in the comments coming on our show. That's just how I do it, y'all. That's just
So
how I
he'll
do
be
it.
the VA for the day, dropping
Yes,
links.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Hey,
my
and
job
don't
is
forget
never
about
done, Russ.
tomorrow morning. Charlene is
Yes.
one of the guests on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott,
Oh
7
man,
a.m. Pacific Standard
I
Time.
can't
You got to
without,
be
man.
there.
I can't without,
Yes.
man. I don't.
Nancy
I
and
might be busy.
myself.
I might be busy tomorrow. I
No,
might be
he'll be
busy
there. He'll
tomorrow.
be there. He'll be there. Nancy and
Oh
myself will be on the
man,
show. I'm looking forward to it. I
yes.
always have an amazing time with you and D Scott.
Yeah,
So can't wait.
collaboration. Yeah, collaboration. That's what it is. So they ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So you guys
Yeah.
can mark that down. That's what's going to be taking place this year. Just going to have some ordinary people getting together, and we're going to have some extraordinary outcomes. And that's what I'm banking on, counting on, knowing on, and leaning on. So that's it. Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate you, Russ. Thank you as always, my friend. Always dropping knowledge. I'm gonna get with you too, because there's some things that you put on there that me and Charlene want to get with you on and see where we can get better, because we always know that we help us one of another. That's definitely how we live, and I definitely want to keep that going. For all of you all that have came out, checked out the show, dropped in the comments, participated with us in this show and shows that we've had before, we appreciate you. We love you. We could not do this or be this without you. So we thank you. You guys come and check out Charlene on Thursday. If you don't show up, believe me, I read the comments. I will come and stalk your page and wonder why you wasn't there, right? No, we love you guys. Love you guys. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Russ, hang out, man. We'll talk to you in a minute. For everybody else, yeah, have a great one, guys.
Night.
See ya.
Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.